Hello, welcome to the newspaper review here on Top TV. My name is Williams Abule. Yes, if you haven't seen this video before and this is the first time, this is the review where we bring you newspaper headlines across newspapers around Nigeria, and we get to talk about the headlines, review them, and of course, we also have you join us to do that by dropping your comments and your reactions on the comment section. And also subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to also like and share this video so that, of course, we have a lot more of your friends getting current news about the happenings around Nigeria. And to do this with me is the beautiful Natasha Brown. Yes, you are welcome. Wednesdays are my best days on this program because she gets to come on the show, and it's always a delight having her here. You're welcome once more. All right, so we're going to go into the headlines for today, but don't forget that we're also on other social media handles, not just YouTube alone. We're on Facebook at Tap TV, on Instagram it's Tap TV _NG, and on Twitter is at Tap TV. So yeah, connect with us on all of these platforms. We'd love to have you here with us. Okay, I'll start today's newspaper headlines on this day newspaper for today, the 19th of October, 2022. And on this day, from the top part there, it says, floods, build dams, desilt major rivers. Okawa urges federal government, Dairy seeks federal government support, directs workers to go on 1 week break. Niger Delta Affairs Minister promises medical infrastructural relief to Bayelsa, Rivers, orders. All right, so do well to pick up this day. That's where we find details of that story. Moving on to other headlines on this day, we see here, President to inaugurate APC presidential campaign cancelled Friday. And that story, you find details on page 41 of this day newspaper. Just right at the bottom of that, we see INEC chair expresses concern over attack on PDP rally in Kaduna, says it has reduced essence of peace accord. House minority situation room worried, demand probe, as in the demand probe on that attack in Kaduna. It's a very disturbing one, but then we move on to the major headline here on this day newspaper. It says, you can't abandon work for election campaign. Buhari warns, says penalty awaits violators of order, directs SGF ministers to prepare transition documents, signs Executive Order 12 to institutionalize accountability, transparency. All right, that's all the headline here on this day newspaper. So do well to pick up a copy and read the full details of those stories. But before that, we want to talk about these headlines. Natasha, I'd like you to react to any of the story you want to react to here on this day. We have the story of INEC. There's also you can't abandon work. Well, for that one, I'm wondering why this warning is coming towards the tail end of Buhari's administration. It's been 7 years, almost 8 years. And in all of these years, we didn't ever see a time where he came out to say, my ministers, you guys need to up your performance. It looks as if the government of Buhari has been comfortable with the happenings, despite the fact that our economy is on the downturn. A lot of things are not moving smoothly. But at this end, towards few months to the end of his administration, we see him, putting up this fire attitude and then trying to motivate his cabinet to keep it up until the last day of them being in office. What's your reaction to that story?
I think for me, it's a good thing to see that it looks like the president is proactive. Like, okay, so my ministers, I need you to still be behind your desk doing the work. Let the people doing the campaign do the campaign, but you that has been employed to do a work, do your work.
Yeah.
Now, just like you said, why hasn't this energy come up from your first tenure until now? Why does it have to be now, just a few months to your living? So it almost smells like you want to look like, okay, I want to be remembered as one of the presidents that remained hardworking till the end of my days, to the end of my tenure, in office. So it almost smells desperate on the side of the president. But at the end of the day, we also see how when this whole election, the whole putting out your interest for the 2023 election started, we saw how a lot of the civil servants were trying to come out for office. Amechi said he was going to come out. The CBN governor and all of that. Like, the CBN governor had to be put under so much pressure for him to have said, okay, I'm not running it anymore. So all of that already made us look at the civil service like, are these people even looking at their jobs? You're not doing well at your job, and you're trying to come out to run for election, and so we saw the heat that the whole ministry, the civil servants did face at that point in time. But for now, for him to have come out now to say that, oh, I need you all to be still hardwired, hardworking till the end of this tenure, and let the campaign people do their campaign thing. I think to an extent, I like that he's reminding them that it's the work first before any other interest. I like that. By the end of the day, still, it's the timing. You're just a few months away. So does it mean that if they were not doing good prior to now, so
how much
in
can
the space of
now?
these few months, they're going to do some magic?
No magic. I mean,
if they have been lax and unproductive up until now, there's not much they can do. So I think, like, honestly, this statement is pretty much coming late. I think if us, the Nigerians, had seen the heat from the beginning of your office or your tenure, saying that all my ministers, all my cabinet members, I want you to be up and doing. If you're not up and doing, and you have your interest or your attention divided, these are the penalties, these are the consequences, then we would have been like, okay, you are here to get the job done. But now it's looking like just a few months, to you. I mean, it just smells of a certain desperation to look hardworking, or making it look like you have the interest of the people at heart, where like you're still working for them. I don't know. It's just,
well, I don't know if it's just me though. I feel, from my observation in the past few months, I feel that somehow Buhari has become more outspoken. He has been more all up in our faces.
He always does that. Close to the elections, he just starts acting like, okay,
well, I'm surprised.
I'm still here for you, my people. I mean,
he has been all up in our faces more. One of the most amazing things that I saw him do recently was when he visited Imo State, or where precisely, and he jettisoned his speech that was given to him and said, "No, I want to speak up, stop things by myself." And he went on talking very intelligently. I was surprised. I mean, this is the same president that in time past we would look for him to address Nigerians for months. And then questions will be raised. Where is our president? Nigeria is on fire. He's not talking.
Why trying to launder your image at the tail end of your tenure?
I don't
when
understand
you could have
the
just shown
idea.
us all of this from the beginning.
Yeah, I don't understand the idea. His government has been mad with a lot of criticism, and negative ones for that matter. So this he's doing now, I don't know how to take it in. Yeah, it seemed like the right thing to say, guys, you guys need to put all hands on deck till we leave the office. Yeah. But what more? How much can they really offer Nigerians at the tail end of whether he likes it or not? Most of them are already politically, driven. They're already involved
interested.
In fact, he's Labor and Employment Minister of State. That's Festus Keyamo. He's a spokesman for the APC. He's been traveling a lot this period, talking in favor of the APC. And then I will also say for the Labour Minister, that's Chris Ngige. I wouldn't say he has been in politics or involved this time around. But then you see the issue of ASU that took him like forever, 8 months to resolve. So is it this tail end that he's going to do? And he became very popular for ASU strike. Before now, nobody was talking about Chris Ngige. Same applies to many other of his ministers that are very dormant and we don't even know their names. I'm sure if they're going to ask people about the names of ministers in Buhari's cabinet, a lot of Nigerians don't know these names because they have been very inactive, just figureheads in quote. So I don't know, but not a bad thing, not a bad move from him, but we don't know if it will yield a lot of results. All right, we're going to move on to our next paper, and that will be the Daily Sun newspaper for the 19th of October. And on the Daily Sun here, we'll start from the top there. It says, Reps, Southeast Bishops, Royal Fathers ask federal government to free Kanu. Lawyers write Malami DSS. That story is on page 28 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Other headlines here, it says, title holders endorse Ogwanhi's senatorial bid. On page 28 is where you find that story. As a major headline on the Daily Sun, it says, state assemblies put review on constitution in jeopardy. State assemblies put review of constitution in jeopardy. Only 11 vote on 44 proposed changes. NLC mobilizes against governors, speakers. Details is on page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper. All right, moving downwards, we see here, I'll build on Buhari's legacy. Tinubu says president has delivered on APC promises. You find that story on page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper. At the bottom, at the side of the Daily Sun, there it says, INEC planned security meeting, worries over violence of campaigns, hate speech. All of that you see on page 6. And it also says there, insist on deployment of technology. Also, we see gunmen on rampage in Anambra, Niger, Plateau, Bauchi, Benue, kill 8, kidnap Catholic priest, 25 others. Details is on page 4 of the Daily Sun newspaper. And then we see Wike Chon's Lagos PDP candidate back Sanwo for re-election. All right, let's talk about Kanu, Nnamdi Kanu's case. I mean, I've been wondering. I just saw that report here again. Says Reps, Southeast Bishops, Royal Fathers asked federal government to free Kanu. That's Nnamdi Kanu, the prescribed, the leader of the prescribed IPOB. And the charges against Kanu has been dropped by the Supreme Court and by the appeal court. And then, you know, it has been said that, okay, yes, he's not free of any charges, but then he hasn't been acquitted because they still want to appeal further to the Supreme Court and all of that. But if the charges have been dropped, why is it still being held? Have you ever wondered why the federal government is still holding him down? I don't know. I've heard some.
It smells like politics.
Yes, it seems like that. Why is it that the guy is not free?
You know how, for me, I think that it's timely, the decision that they have just made to discharge him and to say that he's free of all charges.
Yeah.
It's timely because, I mean, APC still wants to come back to rule or to lead the country. And then appealing to the Easterners is something that will work in your favor. And we know that the whole IPOP people, they have been pushing, they have been canvassing, even meting out violence in various ways just so that Kanu can be released, right? So him being discharged to an extent brings a form of calm within these people to say, okay, so our man is not still in the danger zone. He has been discharged, even though he's yet to be acquitted. So for me, it smells a bit like politics. But at the end of the day, the part where he's yet to be acquitted also smells like these people know that also releasing Kanu at such a time as this, that is very timely to the 2023 elections it will probably boomerang on the government, you know, in a bad way, because whether we like it or not, he's still affiliated with the IPOB.
And he has a lot of influence.
And he has a lot of influence, and these people, they're loyalists. So who is saying that releasing this man or acquitting him and releasing him back into the society will not cause more violent behaviors from the IPOBs, you know, and then maybe he just go and disappears into hiding again. You know, so I think it's a two-way thing. On the one hand, it smells like politics to me in the sense that they want to still get the favor of the Easterners to say that, okay, we're still with you, your man is still alive, your man is still in good health, you know. But on the other side, it's also a wise ploy or a wise plot not to just merely quickly acquit him and release him back into the community or the society. I mean, because 2023 is already fragile as it is.
More like saying that he should be in the custody of the federal government after the election.
You understand what I mean? But you've been free to an extent, but
we just want to keep you around us. Let's just be in this love relationship till after the general elections.
It's a particular case that I'm watching closely to see how it turns out, because you know our federal government, they usually have a way that they play with this thing. So and it's a very sensitive issue at the same time. So I'm really keenly watching to see how this turns out.
I too. I'm very curious about it, because if really he has been discharged and been proven to have been badly dealt with, like unjustly dealt with, then I mean, he shouldn't still be in custody at any level. He should have been allowed to go home, travel, or whatever he wants to do. But yeah, under close monitoring. But then I don't understand why they should hold him down till this point. But we're watching the federal government and hoping that they do the right thing to forestall further protest and backlash, because we need a peaceful and free elections. Please, I really am hoping that we'll have our elections. Not that one day one group stands up and say, okay, oh, we don't want the elections, and then violence starts and the elections are called off, and we have one interim government.
That it's either it's an
please.
Igbo man or nobody else gets
We have suffered. Nigerians have really suffered. So we need to move forward. We need to move on to a better phase than this one. This one is already too toxic, and a lot of people haven't survived it. Those of us that have survived, please, let's survive to the next phase. Promised land, please. We don't want any surprises anymore. So the federal government should do the needful. All right, moving on. But then other stories here that I would like us to deal with here. We saw Tinubu saying that he's going to build on Buhari's legacy.
I saw that and I'm like, what is this again? What is this again? What is this man? This man just keeps throwing bombs at us, left, right, center. He just keeps demarketing himself.
So do you feel that Buhari doesn't have a legacy that can be built on?
I think even though there might be some good things that he has done, and some actions to try to mitigate situations, Nigeria probably could have been worse off if he hadn't put certain actions in place. But at the same time, in as much as you have done certain good, a lot of the negatives, that's what we see.
Oh, yeah.
And it just far outweighs any positives you have ever put. Now, I can't really blame him for inflation, because the COVID affected, I think, the whole world, because in the US, in France, in the UK, there's inflation everywhere. And I get that. But so I cannot necessarily pinpoint that on him, even though I think that there are better financial decisions that could have been made. Because, you know, when you even listen to financial analysts speak, they say that Nigerians, we do not have a revenue problem, an income problem. Rather, we have a spending problem. Right? So we earmark 2 billion for utensils or whatever in the kitchen, the Asarok kitchen or whatever. We earmark certain amount of monies, you know, for the health care center in Asarok. Meanwhile, there's nothing to be told about the healthcare center and the first lady and the president when they have really serious health issues, they have to travel abroad. You know, so we have all of those things, and people and the crazier part is that it's in this regime, or should I say in this period of leadership, that we have heard of the most insane amounts embezzled. Insane amount. Accountant General.
This is the same government that said they will fight corruption.
They're fighting corruption. So when you hear that only one person stole 400 and something billion, you are wondering.
It was swallowed by a snake. Yeah. Then there's the monkey swallowing money too, and a lot of animals eating out of the government.
So you hear all these things, and it just makes Nigerians tired. And apart from our financial backwardness or our economic backwardness, there's the part where you had to ban social media.
Yeah,
that one rubbed off every Nigerian.
They just wanted to ban it. They wanted to regulate it. So that's what they are doing now.
You ban it before you started thinking about regulating. Or
I mean, they were there for like how many years before you realized?
Right.
And then it came on the heels of when, you know, they say the president cannot say certain things on our platform, so we don't want it to be deleted.
So that is there. The NSAS protest is there, where there's still alleged people were allegedly killed at the end of the day. So there's just a lot of stain on this government that it makes it really difficult.
Yeah, well, even though they did some positive things, the wrong things outweighed the right things.
Look at COVID.
Yeah,
lot. If I tell you, from my personal opinion is, if not for Abayomi, the Commissioner of Health, Lagos, I wonder if we would have been able to really curb the widespread and the effect COVID would have had. I give kudos to that man, that commissioner for health. Like, he was so proactive.
It was like the .1 man. Like
it looked like at a point in time, like he was the minister of health. Over I can't remember the name.
Then also the NCDC boss too was really very active.
Yeah. So if was not set in place. And then remember how this thing started. Immediately we saw, or immediately this whole COVID pandemic got into the news, Nigerians already knew there's no way Nigeria will not catch this thing. Our borders are porous, and we didn't take any measures initially.
Yeah.
Up until that Italian came into Nigeria, and the next thing, was it Ogun State or your state he went to, and the next thing he has met with a few people, and then we had to start running frantically about to garner for solutions. And now flood. It had been said before time that there would be these cases of flood disasters in Nigeria.
That like the dam is going to be released at this time, and there were several warnings, but then nothing was done about it.
No measures were taking place. So people will say that it's President Buhari, the one that is the person that is in charge of the environment by himself. Is he supposed to go? And no. But you, as the top tier head, you're supposed to ensure that these people are doing the jobs you have put them in their offices to do. You are like the top supervisor.
Yeah, no, he makes most of the executive decisions.
So at the end of the day, there's just a lot. And I don't think up till now he has necessarily made any comments about the whole flood situation.
I haven't heard any. So and just like I heard someone saying the other day that many governments should have been more responsible to go to those flood areas and visit these people, not get videos and hearsays. Like, go out, take a canoe or a boat or whatever it is, go to these places.
This is where I'm even appreciative of our Governor Wike, where he gave a billion.
He gave a billion naira, but have you heard the reports from those affected areas? People are crying that they are not seeing the effect of that money. And they don't know where the money is.
I was afraid I would hear that.
They have been saying that. I mean, I've seen videos of people in camps, like the IDP camps at the moment, and they are in very terrible condition. And, we've also seen interviews of people living in this camp and say 1 penny, 1 mattress, 1 rice or whatever has never gotten to them. Yet a billion naira has been doled out to help these people. So it's crazy. And then coming back to Tinubu's, comment about
his legacy.
Yeah, I mean, for me, there's no much legacy to continue. I don't even know if there's any to continue. Buhari's government has really cost a lot of Nigerians a lot of pain. Let's
in this season or alone, the amount of, in fact, statistically, the amount of people who have left this country
is so much. It tells you that things are not working.
Every other day, 2 or 3 people around you are leaving to go abroad.
It just speaks one language. It has never been like this before in the past. So it just tells you that this time things are not working. So people are trying to keep their head up. And any place
is at an all-time high.
Yeah. So for me, there's no legacy to continue. Please, anybody that wants to consolidate on Buhari's legacy as the plan for our next phase as a country, my dear, that person is not for me. It's not for me, because at this time we need to start afresh and get it right.
And I don't know if such statements are hinged on loyalty to make it look like, APC is doing the right thing. For I don't understand. You yourself, you have seen.
For Tinubu, that may not be far from the truth, because Buhari is his campaign chairman, also committee chairman or thereabout. So that may not be far from the truth, because I don't think Tinubu will be able to come out and say at this time, where he needs all the support that he can get from both the presidency and the party level, cannot come out and talk bad of this administration, because that will be.
Is he even trying to say that he's going to continue, like when he comes into, if peradventure he comes into office, we're going to have another ASU strike? Because that's one stain on his legacy already. So you want to continue that legacy?
No. There's a lot. If we sit down here and just outline some of the negatives.
This wasn't a wise way to speak at all.
Well, it keeps hitting us with all this kind of speeches. But Nigerians, that's what I keep telling, that voters, I hope they are listening, and I hope they are taking out, or they have a list of things that they will want from their next president, and they are taking out the boxes, because with that you'll be able to make informed decisions, because it will be terribly wrong for you not to be listening now that the campaigns have begun, because a lot are being said out there. The other day it was the presidential candidate of the PDP that was saying some outrageous, ambiguous statements.
To the north.
Yeah, he left it open, and he says, people are misinterpreting it. As a politician, at this time, where the whole country, at this time, the entire world,
are listening.
I say,
you didn't even say that in privacy.
you,
Like
you,
this, no.
and then you
no.
made it so ambiguous that, and now you're saying that they are interpreting it the way they want. That's not what it meant. And then people are now trying to explain to us what he actually meant to say.
Abula,
This is not the time.
Nigerians, we are in for it for 2023 elections.
Yes, and
like,
so
we are in for it.
So there's no legacy. I'm going to just leave it there and we'll move on to our next paper. But that will be after a very short break. When we come back, we're going to go into our next paper, which will be the nation's newspaper. So you stay tuned. When we come back, we get into those details. Now that you have registered for your PVC, it doesn't stop there. Ensure you pick up your PVC. Be alert. Join many Nigerians to vote credible leaders that will change the tide of this nation. Do not sell your vote. Remember, this is our future. Your vote is your voice.
This message is proudly brought to you by Thav Media Limited.
All right, welcome back from that very short break. We are still here on the newspaper review. Have you been dropping your comments? We want to really see what you think about the headlines we've discussed so far. And I'm still here with the beautiful Natasha Brown, and we're going to go right into our next paper, and that will be the Nation's newspaper for today, the 19th of October, 2022. And on the Nation's here, at the beginning part there, it says, Wike endorses Sanwo for second term, dumps PDP candidate. Right, other stories there we see here. Governors demand state police orders. Constitutional review stalled. We'll also move on to these other headlines. It says here, not elders disown, don't vote Yoruba, Igbo comment. Disowns Atiku, don't vote Yoruba, Igbo comment. That's a very dicey story there. You need to get details. It's on the Nation's newspaper. As the major headline on the Nation's here, we see how I will boost economy, enhance security by Tinubu. APC candidate promises to sustain Buhari's legacies. At the bottom part, I'd like to read this comment. It says, despite financial headwinds, you embarked on an unparalleled expansion of the national infrastructure. Work in the power sector is showing dividends amidst increased investor confidence in the area. Well, that's coming from Tinubu as he, says he will continue Buhari's legacy. All right, we're going to go into one of the headlines here. And for me, the catchy headline here is that of our own Governor Wike here in Rivers State going all the way to Lagos State to endorse Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who is also an APC candidate. Like he's not just an APC candidate, one of the proteges of the presidential candidate of the APC, that's the Tinubu. So it makes a lot of people wonder, what is Governor Wike up to? He is a staunch PDP stalwart. How come he's going all the way to endorse an APC candidate? Is he also making a statement that he's also in support of the APC's presidential candidate, even though he hasn't verbally said that at any point? But his body movements and his actions are beginning to say, or make people think in that line that what is he doing? If he's not working for the PDP, which party is he working for? Well, how do you react to all of that?
Father Christmas, first of all.
Yeah, because he also made a very huge donation.
To, was it Sokoto?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And now to the women.
Okay.
The women in Lagos State got 300 million.
We are here as well for some donations from Father Christmas. But at the end of the day, I'm beginning to worry about his legacy. You started well. Not necessarily like he started well. He didn't start quite well. Still, I think still owing arrears and pensioners and all of that.
No, his government has, approved payment for that, but I don't know how well that is going.
Yes. So, and now his biggest reach so far, flyovers, and then a lot of Rivers people are pretty much happy about it. And but at the end of the day, Wike is so frivolous with his spending. Now, for all that I know, it could be trying to garner favor. It could be I mean, these politicians, they always know how they do what they do. The reason that he gave 500 million over to Sokoto for his friend Tambo was so that at the end of the day,
Yeah, he will
you
get some
step down for
favors.
me.
Yeah, but then that didn't
That
play
didn't
out that
happen,
way.
and that's what is biting him so much that he's beginning to act out of sorts, out of sorts in several ways. Now, the party has already been accusing him of anti-party activities, and he's denied that. No, he's a PDP member and he's for PDP all day at all times. He's not living anywhere. But at the end of the day, you travel to Lagos, and there's nothing wrong with giving some financial help to another state, even though yes, your state really does need that help too. But yeah, so you do that. But at the end of the day, you are a PDP man. And there's a PDP candidate in Lagos State
That would need that kind of
that will
support
need
and the
your
financial
endorsement.
backing. Yeah.
And then you go and then you say Sanwo Lu for a second time. He's the governor. Like, what are you doing at this point in time? I don't know what PDP people are looking at, but honestly, he should be called to book. What are you really doing? But at the end of the day, politics is politics. People will always do things for their own interest, their selfish interest. We've already known the whole issue that has been going on, with the PDP, the PDP crisis in-house Atiku.
A lot of people believe that is the reason why Wike is acting the way he's acting, to
probably
let them
is
know.
To spite them, to say that I really can shake things up for you if you don't come to terms with what I'm looking at. So it can be a whole lot of politics, and him having said Sanwo-Olu is, the governor for the next term or whatever. It's still the Wike that is our governor. I mean, tomorrow, if all things are well in PDP and he hasn't decamped, he still can say, oh, okay, that I said what I said, but now I'm changing my mind to say the PDP candidate is. That's how he is.
Yeah, that's politics for you, though.
Quite erratic, with his speeches and his decision making. But at the end of the day, I just hope that he's making the right moves. Because if he decides to finally decamp to to APC, all well and good for him.
Well, that would be surprising, though.
It will be shocking.
Yeah,
not
highly shocking for me.
It will be shocking. But at the end of the day, I hope that he knows what he's doing. My own concern as an indigene of River State is please stop spending our money frivolously if that's not from your pocket.
Well, it's true. A lot of people have gone on to ask that this money he gave in Lagos State this time around, like you rightly said, Lagos State are not the only beneficiary. Just before Lagos State, he gave Cross River State, chapter of the PDP, a lot of buses for their campaign. I mean, one will begin to wonder.
How much is he earning to be able to do that from his own, from his own account or his own purse?
To the campaign in Cross River State? That's a lot of money. It spans into hundreds of millions of naira.
Right.
Then now again in Lagos State, he's giving them 300 million for, he said, on behalf of his wife and, the people of River State. So we don't know whether it's going to come out of his pocket, but whatever the case is, I would say that Wike is quite generous because it wasn't about...
Generous is an understatement. It's not like a Father Christmas type of thing, but Father Christmas with motives.
Yeah, I agree. And then for
There's
the endorsement...
nothing that he does that doesn't have a motive behind it.
Sure,
it's never just a free
he's
roll
a politician.
money.
That's how politicians are. That's how they move. That's their modus operandi. So yes, nothing goes for nothing. There has to be something coming in for me. So, and then for his endorsement of Sanwo-Olu as against the PDP governorship candidate in Lagos State, I mean, that came as a bit of a surprise for me, though, because normally politicians don't act that way. But it just goes on for me to, or it makes me feel like it goes on to tell people that he is ready to do anything to spite the PDP for trying to undermine his influence and his power here in the South. It makes them understand that, guys, look, I am, like I said, I'm not against the PDP, but I'm not also for the PDP at this time. I'm just me, Wike, and I'm going to do me. And I will see a lot of him doing him. But I really cannot say if this is going to be a negative reaction or it's going to backlash on him. I'm not going to, I don't know. It's hard to place all of that. But, well, my fingers are crossed. We're watching how this is going to play out.
2023 election has already been predicted as going to be one of the most dramatic ever.
And it's
We're
already happening.
going to see a lot of the campaigns.
Yeah.
We're going to see a lot of shockers. people stepping down and people moving from one party to another, and people just it's going to be tough. It's going to be really dramatic and dogged at the same time. I just really hope that us Nigerians, we are really, really awake.
Yeah.
To do what is right by us, because truthfully, a lot of politicians are in politics for their self-interest.
Very true.
Their selfish interest.
Very
not
true.
necessarily for the citizenry, not necessarily for the indigents,
I mean,
but for themselves.
Look at the flood crisis that is going on now, and politicians are busy exchanging words as who said this and who didn't say that. They are just about life like nothing ever happened.
Campaign is at the forefront of their minds.
They are not even thinking that more than maybe up to 5% or 10% of the people that are meant to vote in the general elections at the moment may not be alive or have lost their PVCs to the flooding.
Some
they are not
dead.
even in the right senses to do anything. Their campaigns are not being heard at the moment because people are struggling to first be alive before they can think of election. So, but like you said, this is how politicians operate. And first, we just have to be alive first, stay safe, stay away from trouble, and hope on the fact that we even have an election come 2023 so that we can all vote and try to change the current situation of the country. I want to thank you so much, Natasha, for always making it through to the program. And to our viewers, thank you for staying with us up to this time. But for today, that's where we're going to end the program. Hope you enjoyed our headlines, but do well to be a part of it too by dropping your comments and your reactions on the comment section. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time I come your way again, my name is Williams Abule, and this has been the Newspaper Review here on TAF TV. See you next time and stay safe.